The year was 2087, and humanity had reached beyond Earth. People lived on Mars and Europa now. It wasn't easy, but humans were good at surviving in tough places. President Olivia Martinez stood on the platform at the new Deep Space Observatory in Colorado. The mountain air was cold, but she didn't mind. This was a big day. The observatory would help humanity see farther into space than ever before. Today we open our eyes wider to the universe, she said to the crowd. Many people clapped. Some watched on screens all over Earth and the colonies. Dr. Alan Blackwell, the NASA director, stood nearby. He looked proud. This project had taken 12 years to build. After her speech, President Martinez cut the ribbon. The giant telescope and its array of sensors came to life. The crowd cheered. Then, something unexpected happened. One of the scientists ran to Dr. Blackwell. She showed him something on her tablet. His face changed. He looked worried. "Madam President," he said quietly to Martinez, "we need to talk. Now." They walked to a private room. The scientist, Dr. Kelly Jones, showed them what the new observatory had found. "There's something near Saturn," she said. "Something big. It just appeared there." On the screen, they saw it. A massive object, bigger than any ship humans had built. It had come through what looked like a hole in space. "Is it a natural phenomenon?" asked the president. "No," said Dr. Jones. "It's moving with purpose. It's a ship." President Martinez didn't waste time. She called the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Within an hour, military forces worldwide went on high alert. Fighter jets took off. Space defense platforms powered up their weapons. The news spread. People panicked. Some ran to stores to buy supplies. Others prayed. Many just watched their screens, waiting. The giant ship moved closer to Earth, but slowly. It stayed beyond the orbit of the moon, as if being careful. Then came another surprise. "Madam President," said Dr. Blackwell, "they're sending us a message." The message wasn't in any human language. It was mathematical. Simple sequences at first, then more complex ones. "They're establishing basic communication," explained Dr. Blackwell, "showing us they're intelligent and want to talk." President Martinez faced a big decision. Should Earth respond? "If they wanted to attack," said Admiral Paul Sawyer, "they could have done it already. Their technology is clearly advanced." The president nodded. "Send a response. Same mathematical sequence. Then add our own." For 6 hours, Earth and the alien ship exchanged mathematical communications. Then the aliens sent images, strange symbols that researchers worked frantically to understand. Finally, they sent something Earth could understand. It was a simple animation showing two different beings meeting and raising their hands in greeting. "They want to establish first contact," said Dr. Blackwell. President Martinez straightened her jacket. "Then let's welcome them properly." Earth sent back its own message. Images of humans, our solar system, and a simple greeting. The response came quickly. The alien ship would send a smaller vessel to meet with Earth's leaders. As the meeting time approached, President Martinez addressed the world. "Today, humanity stands at its most important crossroads. We are not alone in the universe, and we are about to meet our neighbors. I promise you this. We will face whatever comes with courage, wisdom, and unity." The smaller alien ship entered Earth's atmosphere exactly when they said it would. It landed at the designated location in neutral international waters. As President Martinez watched the ship's door begin to open, she took a deep breath. Everything was about to change. The first alien stepped out. It had blue-gray skin and 4 arms. Its eyes were large and dark. "I am Zixter," it said in perfect English, surprising everyone. "Representative of the Galactic Council. We've been watching your world for some time." The meeting room on the naval ship was tense. President Martinez sat across from Zixter, the alien representative. 4 other Varaxians stood behind him. They were all tall with 4 arms and blue-gray skin. "How do you speak our language?" asked the president. Zixtar made a sound like quiet laughter. We've studied your broadcasts for decades. Your television, radio, internet. We learn quickly. Dr. Alan Blackwell wrote notes quickly. The idea that aliens had been watching Earth for so long was disturbing. We are surprised, said Zixtar. Your species was not in our records. Yet here you are, already reaching to nearby planets. Most species take much longer. President Martinez kept her face calm, but her mind raced. Not in their records. What did that mean? The Galactic Council governs 27 spacefaring civilizations, Zixtar continued. We maintain peace and share knowledge. We wish to invite Earth to join us. The humans in the room looked at each other. This was big news. We are honored, said President Martinez carefully. But we would need to know more before making such a decision. Zixtar nodded with his long neck. Of course, we invite a delegation to visit Galactum Prime, our council headquarters. See our community, then decide. After the meeting, President Martinez gathered her advisors. They debated late into the night. Some thought it was too risky. Others saw a great opportunity. We can't ignore this, said Dr. Blackwell. The technology we could learn would advance humanity by centuries. In the end, President Martinez decided. Earth would send a small delegation to the Galactic Council. She chose 4 people for this historic mission. Dr. Samantha Perry, the best xenolinguist on Earth. Admiral Jack Williamson, a veteran officer with good judgment. Dr. Eric Hernandez, who studied alien biology. And Ambassador Diane Foster, their diplomatic expert. 3 days later, they prepared to board the Voraxian ship. Families said goodbye, not knowing when they would return. The world watched on screens everywhere. Admiral Williamson pulled President Martinez aside before boarding. I don't fully trust them, he said quietly. Something feels off. The president nodded. That's why you're going. Keep your eyes open. Take this. She handed him a small device. It was new technology, a quantum entanglement communicator. It could send messages instantly across any distance, something humans had developed in secret. If anything seems wrong, let me know immediately, she said. The 4 humans boarded the alien ship with small bags of personal items. The doors closed behind them. The inside of the ship was strange. Curved walls with moving lights and air that smelled like cinnamon. Your quarters, said Zixtar, showing them to small rooms. The journey takes 7 days in your time. Feel free to explore public areas. As the humans settled in, Dr. Perry noticed something odd. When the Voraxians thought humans couldn't hear, they spoke differently to each other. Their tone changed. That night, Admiral Williamson couldn't sleep. He walked around the ship and saw Voraxians moving crates labeled in their language. Using a small translator device, he figured out the word. Specimens. Dr. Hernandez tried to learn about Voraxian biology, but found they avoided his questions. When he asked to see their medical bay, they always had excuses. Ambassador Foster was given documents about the Galactic Council to study. She noticed that smaller, newer species seemed to have fewer rights than the founding members. When the humans met for dinner, they were careful what they said. They suspected the room was monitored. This ship is amazing, said Foster loudly. But she wrote on a tablet, something not right. As Earth faded to a small dot behind them, the humans felt both excitement and growing worry. What were they really heading toward? What did the Galactic Council really want with Earth? The ship accelerated, heading toward distant stars. The journey to Galactum Prime had begun. After 7 days in space, the Voraxian ship slowed down. The human delegation gathered at the viewing window. There it is, said Zixtar. Galactum Prime. The planet was huge, with rings like Saturn, but in bright blue. Thousands of ships moved around it like bees around a hive. Space stations floated in orbit, some bigger than small moons. It's amazing, whispered Dr. Samantha Perry. Their ship docked at a massive station. The humans followed Zixtar through long hallways filled with strange creatures. Some had 6 legs, Others floated above the ground. Many turned to stare at the humans. "They're looking at us like we're zoo animals," muttered Admiral Williamson. They entered a giant room with a domed ceiling showing the stars. 27 raised platforms formed a circle. On each platform stood representatives of different alien species. "The Galactic Council welcomes Earth's delegation," announced a tall being with golden skin. "I am High Chancellor Klovex." For the next few hours, the humans met representatives from across the galaxy. Some were friendly. Others seemed cold or curious. The Volari were small with silver fur. The Drazic were like walking trees. The ancient Lorians had skin that changed color with their emotions. "Humans achieved spaceflight surprisingly early in their development," said Klovex to the other council members. "Most species take twice as long to reach their nearby planets." The way he said it made Ambassador Foster uncomfortable. It sounded like they thought humans were primitive. Later, the delegation was given rooms in a tall tower overlooking the capital city. The view was breathtaking. Flying vehicles zipped between crystal buildings that reached the clouds. Dr. Perry stood on her balcony when she heard aliens talking on the balcony next door. They spoke quickly in their language, not knowing she could hear. Her translator device picked up parts of their conversation. Human biology, unexpected resistance, resource value calculation. She frowned. What did that mean? The next morning, they attended a council session. Klovex explained the galactic community structure. Old species like the Voraxians and Lorians had more power. Newer members had fewer votes. Dr. Hernandez noticed how the council treated smaller species. When the Volari representative tried to speak, others talked over him. During a break, Ambassador Foster was approached by a Voraxian official. "We have prepared the Standard Integration Treaty for Earth," he said, handing her a thick document. "Once signed, Earth will officially join the galactic community." That night, the humans gathered in Foster's room to review the treaty. "This is concerning," said Foster, pointing to sections of the document. "These clauses would make Earth a protected territory with limited rights." "What does this section mean?" asked Admiral Williamson. "Earth must provide access to natural resources as needed by Council assessment." "It means they could take whatever they want from Earth," said Foster grimly. Dr. Hernandez shared his own discovery. "I've been running tests on tissue samples from different species. Human DNA has unique properties. We're resistant to many common galactic diseases. Our cells regenerate faster." "Is that important?" asked Williamson. "Very. Some of these species have failing immune systems. They might see humans as a biological resource." Dr. Perry looked pale. "I've been translating more private conversations. They keep talking about Earth as Resource World 3721. Not as a new member, but as a place to be harvested." Admiral Williamson stood up. "I need to see more. Tonight, I'm going to explore restricted areas." "That's dangerous," warned Foster. "We need answers," he replied. "Something's very wrong here. These aren't allies welcoming us to the galactic community. They want something from Earth, and I don't think it's friendship." As the others returned to their rooms, Admiral Williamson prepared for his secret mission. He had no idea what he would discover in the hidden sections of Galactum Prime. Admiral Williamson waited until the station's lights dimmed for night cycle. He slipped out of his room wearing a dark outfit. The Voraxians had given the humans local clothes, and he chose the plainest ones. The corridors were mostly empty. When aliens passed by, he pretended to study something on the wall. Most didn't look twice at him. Humans were still new enough that many aliens didn't know what to make of them. He found a maintenance door and used a small device he had brought from Earth. It was a universal electronic key, a secret military tool. The lock clicked open. Inside was a narrow service tunnel. It led deep into restricted areas of the station. Williamson moved quietly, following signs in alien writing. His translator helped him understand enough to navigate. After an hour of careful movement, he found what he was looking for: the Council archives. The door required special access, but his device worked again. He slipped inside. The room was huge, filled with glowing data terminals. No one was around at this late hour. He sat at a terminal and began searching. What he found shocked him. The Galactic Council had been visiting Earth for centuries. They called it Resource World 3721. Their ships had been mining Earth's resources since before humans built cities. "They've been stealing from us all along," Williamson whispered to himself. He found images of extraction ships landing in remote areas of Earth throughout history. What humans thought were meteor impacts were actually mining operations. The Council had taken gold, uranium, rare minerals, and even biological samples. Then he found something worse, a plan labeled Final Processing of 3721. It detailed how to strip Earth of all valuable resources. The plan would make the planet uninhabitable. Williamson copied as much data as he could onto a small device. Then he carefully made his way back to the human quarters. The delegation gathered in Dr. Perry's room. They spoke in whispers with water running in the bathroom to mask their voices. "This is worse than we thought," said Williamson, showing them what he found. "They'd been stealing from Earth for over 2,000 years. That explains why they were surprised to find us as an advanced species," said Dr. Hernandez. "They expected humans to stay primitive forever. Or they expected us to die out when they took what they needed," added Foster grimly. Dr. Perry had made her own discoveries. "I've intercepted more communications. They're debating what to do about us. Some want to proceed with resource extraction anyway. Others worry that Earth might have weapons we haven't revealed." "What about our quantum communicator?" asked Hernandez. "We need to warn Earth." Admiral Williamson nodded. "I'll send everything we found to President Martinez tonight." On Earth, President Martinez was in her office when the quantum communicator activated. She read the data from Williamson with growing anger. Then more urgent news arrived. NASA had detected multiple small craft entering the solar system from the direction of Neptune. They weren't responding to communication attempts. "They're resource extraction ships," said Dr. Blackwell when Martinez called him. "Based on the data from Admiral Williamson, they're coming to mine more resources from Earth." "Are they armed?" asked the president. "Unknown, but we have to assume yes." President Martinez made a quick decision. "Power up all orbital defense platforms. If these ships enter Earth orbit without responding to communication, consider them hostile." Back at Galactum Prime, the human delegation was making plans to gather more evidence. They needed proof they could present to the full council. "We need to find out which council members know about this deception," said Ambassador Foster. "There might be some who would support us." Dr. Hernandez agreed. The Lorians seemed sympathetic. Their representative, Zell, talked to me about how the council has changed over time. They didn't know that events were already in motion. Earth's defenses were about to engage the incoming alien ships. And on Galactum Prime, Council security was reviewing station access logs from the previous night. President Martinez stood in Earth's Defense Command Center. Large screens showed 7 alien ships approaching Mars. They were small, about the size of cargo planes, but moved incredibly fast. "Have they responded to our messages?" she asked General Frank Howard. "No, Madam President. We've tried all frequencies, even the ones the Voraxians used." Martinez nodded grimly. "Send the final warning. If they cross the Mars orbit line without responding, open fire." On the screens, Earth's orbital defense platforms powered up. They were originally built to protect against asteroids, but had been upgraded with weapons. Most people didn't know these weapons existed. Humanity had kept some secrets. The alien ships crossed the Mars line. Still no response. "They think we're defenseless," said Dr. Blackwell, who stood beside the president. "They don't expect resistance." "Fire," ordered General Howard. The defense platforms fired energy beams. 2 alien ships exploded immediately. A third spun out of control. The others scattered, clearly surprised. "They're turning around," someone shouted. "They're retreating." But the president didn't look happy. They'll report back to the Council. We've just shown our hand. On Galactum Prime, alarms suddenly blared through the station. Council members rushed to an emergency meeting. The human delegation was left in their quarters, suddenly under guard. What's happening? Ambassador Foster asked a Voraxian guard. Stay in your rooms, was the only answer. Dr. Perry put her ear to the wall and used her translator device. She could hear aliens in the next room talking excitedly. Earth defenses, destroyed extraction ships. How did they? Admiral Williamson smiled grimly. Sounds like our people back home gave them a surprise. But their victory was short-lived. Minutes later, Council security officers burst into their rooms. You will come with us, said the lead officer, a tall Drazik with bark-like skin. The Council demands answers. They were taken to a small plain room with no windows. For hours, they sat waiting. Finally, Zixtar entered with several armed guards. Your planet has attacked Council vessels, he said coldly. This is a serious violation of galactic law. Ambassador Foster stood tall. Those ships entered our system without permission and refused to respond to communication. Under whose authority were they there? Zixtar didn't answer directly. You are now under protective custody, for your own safety, of course. After he left, Admiral Williamson whispered, They're going to keep us as hostages. We need to get out of here, said Dr. Hernandez. Find a way to contact Earth again. That night, while the others created a distraction, Admiral Williamson forced open a panel in the wall. Years of military training had taught him how to escape captivity. He slipped into the maintenance tunnels again. He made his way to a communication area and used his quantum device to contact Earth. President Martinez, they're holding us prisoner. The Council is angry about the ships we destroyed. I think they're planning something big. Jack, listen carefully, replied the president. I'm coming there myself. What? How? Remember Project Leap. It's ready. I'll be there in 3 days. Hold on and gather any allies you can find. Project Leap was Earth's secret faster-than-light ship. Only a few people knew it existed. Humans had been studying alien technology for decades, from crashed ships that the public never knew about. Admiral Williamson smiled. The Council had no idea what humanity was capable of. As he made his way back to the holding room, he was spotted by a guard. He fought back, but was outnumbered. The last thing he saw before losing consciousness was a Voraxian security team rushing toward him. Back on Earth, President Martinez addressed the world leaders in a closed meeting. I'm going to the Galactic Council myself, she told them. While I'm gone, prepare our defenses. If I don't return in 1 week, assume the worst. She walked to the waiting ship, humanity's first true starship. It was time to show the galaxy that humans weren't just another resource to be harvested. They were a force to be reckoned with. The human starship Unity dropped out of faster-than-light travel near Galactum Prime. It was smaller than most Council ships, sleek and silver. Inside, President Martinez and her small crew checked systems. We're being scanned, said Captain Lisa Rodriguez. 3 defense ships are approaching. Open a channel, ordered President Martinez. She wore a simple blue uniform with Earth's flag on the shoulder. A Voraxian commander appeared on screen. Unidentified vessel, you have entered restricted space. Power down and prepare to be boarded. This is President Olivia Martinez of Earth. I am here to address the Galactic Council on an urgent matter. The Voraxian looked shocked. Humans do not possess faster-than-light technology. President Martinez smiled slightly. Clearly, we do. Please inform High Chancellor Klovex that I request an immediate audience with the full Council. The Voraxian ships escorted Unity to a docking station. News of the human ship spread quickly through Galactum Prime. By the time President Martinez stepped off her ship, hundreds of aliens were watching from balconies and walkways. Where is my delegation? She demanded of the officials who met her. They are safe, said a tall Drazik. They violated several Council laws and are being held until. Take me to them first. interrupted Martinez. Then I will speak to the council. The Drazik started to object, but something in the president's expression made him reconsider. He led her to the holding area. When the door opened, Ambassador Foster and the others looked up in surprise. "Madam President," Dr. Perry gasped. "How did you get here so quickly?" "I took the fast route," Martinez said with a small smile. She turned to Admiral Williamson, who had a bandage on his head from his capture. "You okay, Jack?" He nodded. "Better now that you're here." "What's the plan?" asked Dr. Hernandez. "I'm addressing the full council, and you're all coming with me." Despite objections from the guards, President Martinez insisted her people accompany her. They walked together to the Grand Council chamber. All 27 council species were present, murmuring among themselves. High Chancellor Klovex called for silence as the humans entered. His golden skin seemed to shimmer with anger. "President Martinez," he said, "your presence is unexpected, as is your method of arrival. Earth is not known to possess such technology." "There are many things about Earth you don't know," replied Martinez, walking to the center of the chamber. "And many things you have hidden from us." She nodded to Admiral Williamson, who activated a small device. Suddenly, holograms appeared around the chamber. They showed council ships landing on Earth throughout history. They showed mining operations disguised as natural disasters. They showed plans for the final processing of Earth. "For centuries," said President Martinez in a clear, strong voice, "the Galactic Council has violated our planet. You've taken our resources. You've hidden your existence from us. You've treated our home as nothing but a mine to be emptied." Many council members looked uncomfortable. Some appeared shocked. "When I say you invaded our home, this council seems stunned," continued Martinez. "Your surprise is not at the accusation, but at our survival and strength." Klovex's skin darkened with emotion. "These are serious claims that require—" "They are not claims," interrupted Martinez. "They are facts. Facts you have hidden from many of your own council members, I suspect." She looked around the chamber, making eye contact with different aliens. "You believed humans were primitive, that we were easy targets. You didn't expect us to develop technology so quickly. You certainly didn't expect us to develop faster than light travel on our own." A small silver-furred Voleri stood up. "Is this true, Klovex? Has the executive committee been conducting unauthorized mining operations?" Other council members began asking questions too. The chamber grew loud with angry voices. President Martinez raised her hand for silence. "I am not here for revenge. I am here for justice. Earth demands recognition as a sovereign world. We demand reparations for resources taken, and we demand reform of this council." Klovex's face showed rage, but before he could speak, a very old Lorian with color-shifting skin stood up. "I believe," said the ancient alien, "it is time for the full truth to be told." The council chamber went completely silent. All eyes turned to the ancient Lorian who had stood up. His skin shifted through colors of blue and purple as he walked slowly to the center of the room. "I am Elder Vosrel. I have served on this council for over 400 of your Earth years," he said. "What I am about to tell you may shake the foundation of everything you believe about our galactic community." High Chancellor Klovex moved forward. "Elder Vosrel, this is not the time." "It is exactly the time." The Lorian cut him off. "Too long have we hidden the truth." Elder Vosrel's skin turned a deep gold as he addressed the entire chamber. The Galactic Council was not formed as a peaceful union of species. It was created by conquerors. Gasps echoed through the chamber. Many council members looked shocked. The founding species, the Voraxians, the Drazik, and yes, even my own Lorian ancestors, were not explorers. We were empire builders. We took what we wanted from worlds too weak to resist. President Martinez and her delegation exchanged glances. This was bigger than they had expected. "Over time, we changed our methods," continued Elder Vosrel. "Direct conquest became secret exploitation. We classified worlds as resources rather than homes to intelligent beings. We told ourselves we were being merciful. Ambassador Foster stepped forward. You've done this to other worlds besides Earth. Elder Vosrol nodded sadly. Many. Some species were allowed to join the Council once they became too advanced to exploit secretly. Others never got the chance. A small green-skinned council member stood up angrily. The Hevari homeworld was stripped of minerals. You told us it was a natural disaster. More council members began shouting. Some accused the founding species of lies. Others demanded investigations. The chamber erupted into chaos. High Chancellor Klovex slammed his fist on his platform. Enough. This changes nothing. The council still stands. The rules still. The rules were made by thieves to justify theft, said President Martinez, her voice cutting through the noise. Those days are over. Zixtar, who had been quiet until now, suddenly moved to stand beside the humans. His action surprised everyone. I agree with the humans, he said. I have been part of a reform movement within the Voraxians for decades. We have tried to change things from within, but perhaps what we needed was this moment, this exposure. More council members began to choose sides. Some stood with Klovex, but more gathered around Elder Vosrol, Zixtar, and the humans. Ambassador Foster saw an opportunity. She moved quickly among the different species, speaking quietly to representatives who seemed sympathetic. Her years of diplomatic training were paying off. Dr. Perry used her translator to speak directly to species whose languages were difficult. Dr. Hernandez shared his findings about biology with those who were interested. What you are suggesting is revolution, said Klovex, his golden skin now dark with rage. We are suggesting evolution, replied President Martinez. A true galactic council based on respect, not exploitation. The Volari representative, small but brave, spoke up. The Volari support Earth's position. We too have suffered under the current system. One by one, more species declared their support. Even some Voraxians and Drazik broke with their leadership to stand with the reformers. Seeing he was losing control, Klovex touched a device on his wrist. This meeting is over. Security will restore order. But when the security forces arrived, they hesitated. Too many council members stood with the humans now. The guards looked to each other, uncertain what to do. Admiral Williamson stepped forward. You have a choice to make, he told the security forces. Continue serving those who built power through lies, or help us build something better. The head of security, a female Drazik, lowered her weapon. We will not interfere. Klovex looked around furiously, seeing his support crumbling. This is not over, he hissed, before storming out with his few remaining allies. Elder Vosrol's skin turned a peaceful blue. No, it is not over. It is just beginning. He turned to President Martinez. What do you propose, human? President Martinez looked around at the diverse beings in the chamber. I propose we write a new charter. Together. As equals. For the first time in thousands of years, the Galactic Council truly represented the will of many worlds. But Klovex and his supporters had not given up, and no one knew what they might do next. For 3 days, the new alliance worked to write a galactic charter that would treat all species fairly. President Martinez barely slept, moving from one meeting to another. Her determination impressed even the oldest council members. On the morning of the 4th day, alarms blared throughout Galactum Prime. We're under attack, shouted a Volari aide, rushing into the meeting room. Admiral Williamson and President Martinez ran to the command center. On the screens, they saw a fleet of ships approaching the station. Kolvex's supporters had returned with warships. They're charging weapons, said Ilorian operator. Zixtar turned to Admiral Williamson. We need your help. You've shown that humans understand combat. Williamson nodded. Give me access to your defense systems. While Williamson worked with the station's defenders, Dr. Hernandez made a discovery in the science lab. President Martinez, he called over the communication system. I need you in the biology section immediately. When she arrived, Hernandez showed her something on a screen. I've been studying the DNA samples from different species. Look at this. He pointed to two DNA patterns side by side. This is human DNA, and this is from an ancient sample labeled progenitors. They're similar, said Martinez, looking closely. Not just similar, they're related. According to these records, the progenitors were the first advanced species in the galaxy. They disappeared over 50,000 years ago. What are you saying? I'm saying humans might be descendants of the progenitors. We might be carrying their legacy. This news spread quickly through the station. Many species were amazed. The progenitors were considered almost mythical, the founders of galactic civilization before they mysteriously vanished. Meanwhile, in the command center, Admiral Williamson was organizing the defense. He'd noticed patterns in how Kluvex's ships moved. They're using outdated tactics, he told the defense teams. They rely on intimidation, not skill. Here's what we'll do. Instead of meeting the attack head-on, Williamson positioned their ships in a new formation. When Kluvex's fleet fired, most shots missed. Then the defending ships fired back precisely, disabling engines and weapons without destroying the ships. We don't want to kill them, explained Williamson. We want to show them a better way. As the battle turned in their favor, Ambassador Foster received a message from one of Kluvex's ships. They want to surrender, she announced. Several crews have mutinied against their commanders. They say they don't want to fight for the old ways anymore. Within hours, the attack had failed. Kluvex himself was captured when his flagship's crew turned against him. The next day, representatives from all species gathered for a historic meeting. President Martinez stood at the center with Elder Vosrel and Sixter. Today, we establish the Galactic Alliance, she said, not a council of conquerors, but a true partnership of worlds. One by one, representatives stepped forward to sign the new charter. Even some former supporters of Kluvex joined, seeing that change had come. The charter guaranteed all worlds control of their own resources. It established fair trade, shared technology, and mutual defense. Most importantly, it acknowledged past wrongs and created a path to make amends. As Earth's delegation prepared to return home, they received honors from many species. Dr. Perry had helped create a new translation system. Dr. Hernandez's discoveries about human DNA had opened new areas of research. Admiral Williamson had trained a new ethical defense force. Ambassador Foster had shown remarkable skill in bringing different species together. President Martinez addressed the Galactic Alliance one final time before departing. We came to the stars not knowing our own history. We return to them now, not as conquerors, but as the conscience the galaxy long forgot. Earth will help lead the way forward, but we will never forget the lessons of the past. As the human ship Unity left Galactum Prime, it was escorted by vessels from many worlds. The stars stretched before them, no longer alien and threatening, but full of new friends and endless possibilities. Back on Earth, people celebrated the news. Humanity had not only survived its greatest challenge, but had transformed a system of exploitation into one of cooperation. In standing up for themselves, they had created something better for all. And throughout the galaxy, the story spread of how the humans of Earth had changed everything when their president said, "You invaded our home,